Well, hello.
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 Hey, we are live. I see some friends joining us. We'll give them just another minute and then we'll get started with all the fun. All right. Okay, let's do it. Let's kick off. Alrighty. Happy Monday, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to PhotoDay Unframed. Today we have the wonderful Missy and Tracy Siers from Missy Siers Photography. Thanks for joining us. Just a note that as we get talking today, those of you that are watching, please feel free to drop your questions in the comments right here on Facebook, and we'll get to as many of them as we can. So with that, welcome Missy and Tracy. I was fortunate enough to meet Missy and Tracy this summer in Chicago at PhotoDay. They helped us set up our booth, and that is where I learned that they are just the most generous, wonderful, funny people, but they're also very successful in their volume photography business, and they're here to talk to us today about how they do this as a couple. So Missy and Tracy, would you guys like to tell us a little bit about yourselves and your volume photography business?
Well, we started probably in about 2016, just doing just a few teams here and there. And then we ventured out the last 3 years ago. We went to a boot camp and it just kind of took off from there. And Tracy retired, so he had to do something with his time.
Right. Can't just sit around and...
No.
I love that. That's awesome. All right, well, let's jump in. We've got some questions. We're excited to learn all about how you guys do what you do. So to kick it off, if you could trade responsibilities for a day, what would you each choose to do?
You go first.
I would not lift things for sure. I'd probably work with the athletes a little bit more and be able to have that one-on-one time, and because he's my poser and he lifts things, so I would probably I would like to do the posing so I could like interact with the kids a little bit more. Sometimes I'm sitting so far away that I'm just like, hey, look at me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember he was very handy with reaching tall things as well.
Yes, exactly.
Everybody's got a skill.
How about you, Tracy?
I think I would like to be behind the camera for a bit. She doesn't let me get behind the camera very often. But just watching the artistic process happen from the outside, watching it where, I'm seeing her going through her progressions and moving the camera and changing the angles and understanding how those a slight change in angle affects the tone of a picture, and especially in sports photography, you make an athlete look larger than life. And I would really like to get behind the camera and do that, but I'm not going to.
I gave him the opportunity once and he declined and went and helped our daughter take pictures.
I lift heavy things. That is my job.
Tracy, I think you could do it. I believe in you.
So ironically, I was doing photography years and years ago, back when we had to actually develop film, and I mean I started, and then that's how old. And then when Missy really, it started with her just taking pictures of the kids, because our kids did multiple sports, and we figured as long as we're there, we might as... I coached and she took pictures, so that's how we got even more involved than they really wanted us to. So it kind of started there, and then she just kind of branched off from there. She's like, well, how do I do this? And that's her inquisitive mind. She's like, how do I go from where I'm at to the next logical step? So from this camera to the next thing, and then digital photography, really, the technology just blew up, where anybody could just take pictures with their phones or whatever. So she had to think, well, how do I stay ahead of that? And honestly, I mean, that's I would really like to be where she's at and kind of in that mindset. So it's been a fun journey for us.
That was a really long answer.
I agree. That was a great.
So then my next answer is yes.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, and you guys really seem to have so much respect for each other. I feel like not every couple could do what you do and work so closely with their significant other. So, how has that been something that you've been able to adapt to and really make sure that, you're working well together as a couple when that's not a typical thing?
Well, when I get the look, when I've said something, I know I should probably be quiet and just let him do his thing. There's a secret Sherpa group that I think is out there somewhere. And the Sherpas out there, they know where to find their group. And I'm pretty sure they complain about all of us photographers as we might complain about our Sherpas as well.
I mean, not everything is sunshine and roses.
No.
I mean, there's times, especially when things go wrong. And we're fighting nature, we're fighting technology.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one of my favorite things is I'll set up the lighting, and then she'll say, no, that's not where that goes, and then we'll move it around like 8 or 9 times for it to end up originally in back in the same spot where it was originally. And I know that I can't say I told you so, because if I do, I don't get dinner afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So, I pick the hills that I want to die on, I guess.
There you go. Yeah. Well, maybe our next thing after photo day is Sherpa day. Maybe that's our next.
Right? Yeah. I love taking pictures of my Sherpa because he's my starter, and when I have to get all my lights right. So I have a special little folder of and it's labeled Sherpa. It's all his pictures in there. Variety of pictures. I mean, sometimes he's carrying lots. Sometimes he's mad. Sometimes he doesn't mean to be mad, but he looks really mad.
Sometimes stuff is pretty heavy. And there's been times where I've been holding a scrim over my head because none of the equipment that we have will stand up to the gale force winds that we have up here. So I'm holding a scrim, so we tether. So when she shoots, I watch the iPad to make sure that all the lighting went off, that it's what we want, just so we get a second set of eyes on it. So as I'm holding a scrim or holding 8 flashes, and I got my legs wrapped around one flash, and we actually had to hire my son once to sit on a flash just so that we could get the shoot done.
And hold it like this.
Yeah. So there's
the wind stinks. I hate it.
There's definitely times that things aren't going well. And I think in the end, we both figure out that it doesn't matter if things aren't going well. We still need to get the job done. And we can't carry sour faces in front of the customers, because that kind of rubs off on them. We want to have them have their bright, happy faces. So we end up working it out, and then we'll laugh it off and go to dinner and
complain
drinks
about
at the
the
end.
wind the whole night. It's the wind that kills us.
Oh yeah, that sounds brutal. Yeah, somebody dropped in the comments when I asked how you guys get through the tough part of being partners and in this business together. Someone said margaritas,
right?
Which we were talking about. So
actually, if it's a really bad shoot day, he's like, we need to go and have margaritas. I go, oh, but I didn't feel like it was a bad day. But sometimes he takes it, and sometimes his days are bad and sometimes mine are, and they never seem to be the same. But when I know he says that we have to have margaritas, then I'm like, oh, was it that bad? and sometimes I'm looking, and it'll be, maybe just that one kid that just isn't working right, and we'll just both be like, oh my God, like, are there margaritas like here? Like, can I just order one and have it delivered? But yeah, margaritas are usually the good drink of the evening after a shoot.
Sounds about right. All right. Well, next question. What makes you guys the most excited about working together?
He can lift things. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I think we've covered that.
With his previous job, he was gone a lot, so it's nice to be around, see him a little bit more, and we banter as we during our shoot. I mean, a lot. It's a lot of like, hey, can you cover them today? Can you get the sun covered? And then I'll be talking, and then he'll be saying, hey, you going to take his picture or what?
There's been times that I've been standing there with the model while she's down just chatting somebody up, and I tell the model to pretend we're sleeping, and then she's like, oh, okay, I get the picture.
I guess I got to work.
I like the fact that we artistically, we are not exactly in the same place. Mm-mm. So there's times that I'll see something and I just yell, hit it, because I got, eventually stuff happens so quickly that I'm like, I just wanted to snap the picture. So if I yell, hit it, now it's almost Pavlovian, where she just, camera comes up and she takes a picture, and we've gotten some good pictures out of that. But we just, stylistically, we're different. So between the two of us, we end up getting some really interesting artistic views on some of the things that we shoot. So I like that. That makes me excited about our partnership.
Yeah, that's a special thing, to be able to use your differences to make magic. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in that same kind of vein, in this time that you guys have been running this business together, what has been maybe your biggest accomplishment, or the thing that you're most proud of doing together?
Ooh, that was a tough one.
Sorry, I hit you with a thinker.
I know you did.
I don't know that there's, it's hard to define like one single accomplishment. I think it's been a road of a lot of little accomplishments that are amazing.
Yeah, and I think we keep each season we keep adding another team to our roster, which is kind of fun to, and sometimes it's us going out and getting them, but sometimes it's them coming and asking us, which I think that's a really big accomplishment, to know that people are seeing what we're doing, and they like what they see, and they want us to come take their picture. So I think that's probably one that I think is one of our biggest, is our names out there a little bit more.
Being recognized by developing a relationship with a lot of the schools and kids that we work with, where they see us, and we're not the photographer guy and photographer lady. We're Missy and Tracy, and they'll come up and chat us up. And
except for if he's at the Y, they'll be like, "Hey, did you take my pictures?"
You're the picture guy.
And then it'll be like, "Well, no, I didn't take them, but yes, we were there."
And it's because I'm at the Y and I'm lifting and I have my scary face on. So,
and he's lifting heavy things. So they just,
Seems to be your favorite thing, Tracy.
It is.
We all have niches. I've accepted the things that I do well.
Nothing wrong with that. I love it. All right, here's another thinker for you guys. Ooh. What do you think is the key to a happy and healthy relationship?
I'm going to say yes on this one, since my first answer was so long. I'm just going to say yes.
It's cheating. He always cheats. He's a cheater.
Compromise.
Yeah. Sometimes he'll do something. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. That's not what I want. But then I'll be like, okay, I'm going to go with his vision for a moment. And then I usually like it. I mean, we do.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I don't know that there's ever been an occasion where she just flat out said no.
No.
She's like, well, try it, see what it looks like. Yeah, she just did. I heard you say it. Yeah. So now I can't say that ever again.
No, we usually, the compromise, I think, is what works the best. He'll be somewhere. I'll have an idea in my head, and I'll run it by him, because we're already starting to plan for winter. So we're trying to figure out, like, okay, what are we going to do? Because I don't like anything looking the same from year to year. I want background different, something different that they can pinpoint, like, oh, that was my junior year, or that was my freshman year, or whatever the case may be. and we try to come up with some new ideas. And so we try to bounce off and see what grabs both of us. So if we're both invested in it, then it just always turns out better, and the kids have more fun. And it's really about having fun with the kids so that we can get them more relaxed and not just smiling like this.
I love that. I'm making notes. Compromise. I'm
Yep.
getting married in a couple months. So
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
taking notes on
That's right.
everything you guys are talking about.
Compromise is huge.
Yep.
Don't
I love
sweat the
that.
small stuff.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Figure out what it is that you need to expend energy on, and the little things that you can't really affect, just don't let them bother you. It took us a long time to figure that out.
Yeah.
Me personally, it took a long time to figure that out. And then when I retired from the military, I was like, you know what? Really got to change the way I think. And that's kind of the attitude we bring is, so if we're out shooting and stuff's not working, we're like, hey, we're not going to fight the technology. We'll figure out what works and then go with that.
I want to fight it. And I will win.
Zero digital patience. Zero.
None. If it's not working, it's broke.
Yep.
And the day is over.
Well, you balance each other out.
Yep.
Yeah. I have none. None. I've called him when he hasn't been there and our daughter's been with. And I'm like, it's not working.
Have you waited 2 seconds? Oh, there. See?
No, I haven't. I don't.
Well, we had someone comment and say, my husband compromises by saying yes to everything I ask. So that's one way to do it.
That is one way to do it.
That is one way. It is. I like that way.
Yeah, that works. I like it too. All right, awesome. Well, we've got time for one more question for you guys. So what would your advice be for other couples who are looking to get into the volume photography business together or are currently navigating doing so as partners?
I think we have to have our own lane. Like yes, he lifts things, but he's also my light guy. Like I can say, I don't like how that's hitting blah, blah, blah. And he can fix it, and then, or vice versa, he'll be like, no, it's gotta be like this. So I think kind of having your spot, and maybe somebody's better with like the social media part and the, getting other jobs and, kind of, I think having that balance of not you both doing the same thing, because I think then you'll struggle.
Yeah, if you look at like some of the successful groups out there are heroes like the Boatwrights, the Graftons, the Martins. There's a definite dichotomy there where they have truly defined lanes, and sometimes there's some gray area, but for the most part, they stay and they move forward. I think so. I saw a statistic that a lot of photography businesses don't last longer than 5 years. And that was really interesting to me, because I think one of the things that we do a lot is there's two parts to photography. There's the art and there's the science. And the art is kind of steady. Art is art. That's going to maintain throughout. But the science changes so rapidly. And if we don't stay relevant, if we don't stay, kind of on the tip of that technological flow, then you fall behind. And I think that's when you start to see businesses and groups just kind of fold and come flat. So that's why, like, PhotoDay was a big jump for us, because it freed up a lot of time for us to do 1,000 other things that we wanted to do instead of doing paperwork and all the other stuff. And then all the equipment, was it Justin that said get more jobs, get better equipment if you want to stay relevant? So we're like, that makes sense. So that's what we do. And I think that's because we're both on the same sheet of music with staying relevant, staying with the technology, not becoming stagnant, not getting ourselves in a position where somebody's going to say, well, that looks just like it did last year. And we don't want to be boring. And we're both there. And I think that single factor just kind of drives us forward as a couple.
Boring's bad.
Boring is bad.
Yeah.
Boring is bad.
Boring's bad. Got to change it up. If we do mod lights one year, you're not going to get them next year. You're not, because I got to do something else. I get sick. I don't want to see the same pictures year after year. I want to change it up and have them be excited. Like, oh my God, what are they going to do this year? What are we going to do?
And we've heard that from parents.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, what are we going to get for
Sometimes they send me ideas and I say fire. Absolutely. Oh my God. I'm so sick of that fire. Gotta go away.
But see, that's something that we tend not to lean towards the cliche, the things that are like it's something that looks good this year, but next year it's not. We tend to stay towards the classical, but try and make the classical something that ends up lasting. You know, it's create lasting images.
Yeah,
I love that. That's some incredible advice. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
All right. Well, awesome. Thank you both so much for your time today. This was spectacular. Appreciate you both so much. And our next Photo Day Unframed, I'm sure you two will be excited about this. We're going to announce what exactly it is this week, but I will tell you we're going to be having a holly jolly good time. Just a little hint. But that'll be October 9th at 2 p.m. We'll share some info in the users group on Facebook this week. And our next webinar is actually tomorrow. We're talking all things advance pay with Lisa Malice. We're going to drop a link in the comments for anybody who wants to come. So check that out. And yeah, again, thank you both so much.
Yes, you're
Thanks for having
welcome.
us.
Thanks.
Have a great rest of your week.
Yes,
Thanks,
you
you
too.
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.